If the version of you that you keep dreaming about required the death of your comfort, would you still want him? Be honest. A lot of men say they want transformation, but what they really want is relief. They want the pressure to go away. They want the money to get better. They want the respect to arrive. They want the body, the discipline, the business, the peace, the leadership, the confidence. But they want it without confronting the man they have been tolerating. That is where most men lose. They want a new life, but they keep protecting the old identity. They want abundance, but they keep avoiding responsibility. They want discipline, but they keep negotiating with comfort. They want respect, but they keep breaking promises to themselves in private. Let me tell you the truth directly. Nobody is coming to build you. Nobody is coming to save you from the habits you keep defending. Nobody is coming to hand you discipline, confidence, courage, money, leadership, or self-respect. Those things are not gifted to a man. They are built inside him through pressure, repetition, and hard decisions. You can listen to every motivational speech, read every book, sit in every room, follow every successful person, and still stay the same if you do not decide to become different at the level of identity. Transformation is not a mood. It is not something you feel for a few hours. It is not the temporary excitement that comes after hearing something powerful. Real transformation is a decision that becomes a lifestyle. And if it is real, it will cost you something. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you excuses. It will cost you the approval of people who only like the weaker version of you. It will cost you habits that used to make you feel safe while quietly keeping you broke, distracted, and behind. A man cannot become new while staying loyal to everything that kept him old. That is why transformation feels like war, because part of you wants to rise, and another part of you wants to stay familiar. One part wants discipline, the other wants escape. One part wants financial strength, the other wants emotional spending. One part wants leadership, the other wants to blame, complain, avoid, and delay. Those two men cannot both lead. At some point, you have to decide who gets authority, the man you have been or the man your future requires. And understand this clearly. The weaker version of you will not disappear just because you are inspired. He will speak when you are tired. He will negotiate when things get uncomfortable. He will tell you to start Monday. He will tell you this is not the right time. He will tell you nobody understands your pressure. He will tell you that one more day of delay will not matter. But it does matter. Every day you let weakness lead, you train your mind to accept betrayal as normal. Every time you delay what you know you need to do, you vote against the future you keep asking for. That is why you cannot manage the old version of you. You have to outgrow him so aggressively that his patterns no longer have a place to live. This starts with ownership, not blame, not excuses, ownership. Look at your life and tell the truth. The money, the body, the schedule, the energy, the environment, the emotional reactions, the unfinished goals, the repeated patterns. Own them, not because everything was your fault, but because everything is now your responsibility. The weak man uses pain as a reason to stay where he is. The strong man uses pain as information. He says, this is showing me what needs order. This is showing me where I gave away control. This is showing me what standard I need to raise. That is how a man begins to rebuild. Transformation does not begin when life becomes easy. It begins when you get tired of abandoning yourself. It begins when you stop saying one day and finally admit that delay has been costing you years. It begins when you look at the mirror and realize the man looking back at you is not finished, but he is responsible. That realization may hurt, but it is also freedom, because the moment you accept responsibility, you stop waiting for permission. You stop waiting for people to understand you. You stop waiting for the perfect economy, the perfect schedule, the perfect motivation, the perfect confidence. You start moving because the next version of your life requires motion. Most men are not stuck because they do not know enough. They are stuck because they refuse to act on what they already know. They know they need to wake up earlier. They know they need to control their spending. They know they need to train their body. They know they need to build skill. They know they need to stop oversharing. They know they need to stop reacting emotionally. They know they need to remove certain people from their circle. They know they need structure. But knowing without execution becomes self-deception. You cannot keep calling yourself aware if your awareness never changes your behavior. That is not awareness. That is entertainment. A serious man turns truth into structure. He does not just feel convicted. He builds a system around the conviction. He starts with his morning because the morning tells the mind who is in charge. If the first thing you give your attention to is noise, you have already surrendered the day. The phone, the messages, the opinions, the distractions, the drama, the comparison, the algorithm, all of it trains your mind to react before you lead. need. A man rebuilding himself cannot afford that. He must claim the first part of the day: silence, clarity, movement, planning, prayer if that is part of his life, training if the body needs command, reviewing the numbers if the money has been avoided, writing the one action that matters before the world starts asking for pieces of him. This is not about having a perfect routine. It is about creating evidence. Evidence that you are no longer drifting. Evidence that you are no longer waiting for motivation. Evidence that your word means something. Self-respect is not built by intentions. It is built by proof. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build proof. Every time you break one, you weaken trust with yourself. That is why so many men lack confidence. It is not because they are incapable. It is because their own mind has watched them fold too many times. Confidence returns when the proof returns. So keep small promises, stack clean days, finish tasks, close loops, do the boring things that rebuild your internal reputation. When I was writing my book, Your Next Step: New Tools for Financial Abundance Now, I had to think deeply about this. Financial abundance is not only about earning more. It is about becoming the kind of person who can handle more. A man who avoids responsibility cannot hold abundance. A man who is controlled by impulse cannot keep wealth. A man who has no discipline around time, money, emotion, and focus will always feel like more is slipping through his hands. That is why the next step is not always a bigger opportunity. Sometimes the next step is becoming more ordered, more honest, more consistent, more aligned, because the man has to be built before the life can expand. The cost of transformation is discomfort, and most men are trying to avoid the exact thing that would build them. They want strength without resistance. They want leadership without burden. They want money without discipline. They want a new identity without sacrificing the old routine. That is fantasy. Growth will always demand confrontation. You must confront your laziness. You must confront your procrastination. You must confront the spending that keeps you looking successful while feeling unstable. You must confront the emotional reactions that keep damaging your peace. You must confront the need for approval that keeps making you explain yourself to people who are not building with you. You must confront the weak patterns you have normalized. And the hardest part is this: you must stop making your past the excuse for your future. Maybe you had setbacks. Maybe you were betrayed. Maybe you were overlooked. Maybe your environment did not prepare you. Maybe you had to figure too much out alone. Fine. That explains some of the weight, but it cannot become the reason you never move. At some point, explanation becomes imprisonment. A man has to say, yes, that happened, but it does not get to control the rest of my life. That is power, not pretending pain did not happen, but refusing to let pain become your identity. You are not what happened to you. You are what you decide to build after it. And if you decide to rebuild, rebuild with structure. Not with emotion. Emotion starts things, but structure sustains them. Write the plan, track the habits, order the money, review the day, train the body, protect your focus, choose who gets access to your energy, decide what no longer belongs. A man who does not inspect his life will keep leaking power through the same cracks. You cannot elevate while tolerating disorder. You cannot become disciplined while making room for every distraction. You cannot build self-respect while continuing to betray your own standards. Transformation requires cutting. Not everything comes with you. Some habits have to go. Some conversations have to go. Some environments have to go. Some comforts have to go. Some versions of you have to go. That does not mean you hate your past. It means you are no longer willing to be ruled by it. Let the old version of you be a chapter, not a prison. Honor what he survived, then move forward without carrying his excuses. The man you are becoming needs different inputs, different mornings, different standards, different conversations, different decisions, different responses under pressure. And yes, some people will not understand. Let them misunderstand. You are not transforming for applause. You are transforming because you are tired of living below your own capacity. You are tired of watching other men build what you keep saying you want. You are tired of starting over. You are tired of knowing there is more in you while your habits keep proving less. That tiredness can either become bitterness or fuel. Choose fuel. Use the frustration. Use the embarrassment. Use the regret. Use the pressure. Let it sharpen you. Let it make you serious. Let it bring you back to the standard. A man becomes dangerous to his old life when he stops needing to feel good before he does what is right. That is discipline. Discipline says, I move because the mission requires it. I train because my body is part of my leadership. I save because my future matters more than my impulse. I stay calm because my emotions do not get to ruin what I am building. I finish because my word matters. There is no transformation without alignment. If your thoughts say one thing, your words say another, and your actions say something completely different, your life will feel chaotic because you are divided. A divided man cannot build with power. He is always fighting himself. He wants discipline, but he speaks weakness. He wants money, but he avoids numbers. He wants leadership, but he reacts like a child when pressured. He wants respect, but he keeps disrespecting his own word. Alignment means the man you claim to be and the man you practice being start becoming the same person. That is when power returns. Ask yourself honestly, are your actions aligned with the man you say you want to become? Does your calendar reflect your priorities? Does your spending reflect your goals? Does your body reflect your standards? Does your environment support your mission? Do your conversations pull you forward or drag you backward? Do your daily habits prove that you are serious, or are you only serious when you are motivated? The answers will tell you the truth. Do not run from them. Truth is not there to shame you. Truth is there to direct you. The weak man gets offended by correction. The strong man uses correction as construction material. He says, show me the leak so I can fix it. Show me the weakness so I can train it. Show me the pattern so I can break it. That mindset changes everything. Transformation becomes less mysterious when you understand it is built through repeated correction. You do not need to become perfect. You need to become correctable. That means when you slip, you do not collapse into guilt. You correct fast. You do not let one bad morning become a bad week. You do not let one emotional reaction become your identity. You do not let one mistake become the excuse to return to the old life. You correct. You tighten. You return to the mission. That is maturity. And maturity is rare. Most people live by mood. They do well when they feel good and disappear when life gets heavy. But a man building a future cannot be mood-led. He has to be principle-led. Principles do not change when you are tired. Standards do not disappear because you had a hard day. Responsibility does not wait until you feel confident. The mission still requires obedience. Some days you will not feel strong. Good. Act according to strength anyway. Some days you will feel fear. Good. Move with fear in the passenger seat. Some days you will feel behind. Good. Use that pressure to organize the next step. You do not think your way into confidence. You act your way into it. Every kept promise adds proof. Every hard decision adds weight. Every completed task tells your mind, I am the kind of man who follows through. And over time, your identity changes. Not because you said it once, but because you proved it repeatedly. That is why the small things matter. The clean room, the early alarm, the prepared meal, the finished workout, the paid bill, the tracked expense, the controlled response, the hour of focused work, the honest conversation. These things may look small, but they are not small. They are votes. Every one of them votes for the man you are becoming. And when enough votes go in the same direction, identity shifts. You stop trying to be disciplined. You become the disciplined man. You stop trying to be responsible. You become responsible. You stop trying to rebuild. You become the rebuild. The old version of you survives through negotiation. He does not always come as laziness. Sometimes he comes as logic. He says, you have been working hard. Take it easy. He says, you are stressed. Buy something. He says, you are tired. Skip today. He says, they do not support you. Why keep trying? He says, you already failed before. Why risk embarrassment again? He sounds reasonable because he knows how to use your wounds against you. But understand this, every compromise has a cost. The cost may not appear immediately, but it collects interest. Miss enough workouts and the body changes. Avoid enough numbers and the money gets heavier. Break enough promises and confidence disappears. React emotionally enough times and people stop trusting your leadership. Delay enough dreams and regret starts becoming your personality. That is why you must become ruthless with the first compromise. Not hateful, ruthless. You have to recognize the voice that pulls you backward and answer it with action. Not debate, action. When your mind says skip, you start. When fear says wait, you move. When shame says hide, you face the truth. When distraction calls, you protect the focus. This is how you starve the old self. You do not starve him with words. You starve him by refusing to feed his patterns. Every time you choose the standard, he gets weaker. Every time you choose the mission, he loses authority. Every time you choose responsibility over escape, the new man gets stronger. Eventually, the old pattern becomes unfamiliar. That is the goal. To become the kind of man who can no longer comfortably live in the life he used to tolerate. A man who is uncomfortable with disorder. A man who feels out of alignment when he wastes time. A man who cannot ignore his finances. A man who cannot accept weak effort from himself. A man who does not need everyone to understand him because he understands the mission. That kind of man becomes solid, not perfect, solid. And solid men are built in the dark. The world may only see the results, but the real work happens when nobody is watching. The quiet morning, the silent sacrifice, the lonely correction, the decision to leave the old circle, the discipline to build when progress is invisible, the courage to admit where you have been weak, the humility to learn, the patience to stay with the process. Most people want want the reward, but they do not want the private construction. They want the applause, but not the hours. They want the influence, but not the responsibility. They want the money, but not the order. But the man who truly transforms stops chasing the appearance of success and starts building the foundation of it. Foundation is boring to people who want quick attention, but foundation is what keeps a man standing when pressure comes. And pressure will come. The job will test you. The business will test you. Money will test you. Family will test you. Your own emotions will test you. That is not a sign to quit. That is where the training becomes real. You cannot call yourself disciplined only when life is convenient. Discipline is proven when pressure gives you a reason to fold and you still choose the standard. That is when a man earns himself. That is when he becomes someone his future can trust. So stop asking for the easy version. The easy version of life will not build what you say you want. Ask for the strength to do the hard thing with consistency. Ask for the courage to tell yourself the truth. Ask for the focus to stop wasting your energy on things that do not build you. Then act. Because a man does not transform by waiting. He transforms by forcing the next right decision until the new identity takes over. Now, understand the final truth. Your transformation is your responsibility. Not your parents, not your boss, not your friends, not the economy, not the algorithm, not the people who doubted you. Yours. They may have influenced parts of the story, but they do not get to write the ending unless you keep handing them the pen. Take it back. Own your life. Own your mornings. Own your money. Own your body. Own your reactions. Own your environment. Own your standards. Own the next step. You do not need to fix everything in one day, but you need to stop lying to yourself today. Name what has been controlling you. Comfort, fear, distraction, approval, procrastination, pride, emotional spending, weak boundaries, old pain. Name it, then take one disciplined action against it. Open the account, write the plan, train the body, make the call, apologize where needed, set the boundary, finish the work, clear the space, review the numbers, remove the distraction. Do something today that proves the old version of you is no longer in charge. Then do it again tomorrow. That is how transformation is forced. Not through one emotional moment, but through repetition. You become what you repeat. Repeat discipline and you become disciplined. Repeat responsibility and you become trusted. Repeat courage and courage becomes easier to access. Repeat excuses and you become fragile. Repeat delay and delay becomes your identity. This is why you have to choose carefully. Your habits are building something whether you are paying attention or not. So build on purpose. Build a life that does not require escape. Build a body that supports your mission. Build financial habits that create peace instead of panic. Build a circle that respects growth. Build a schedule that reflects your priorities. Build a name that means something. Build the kind of self-respect that no one can hand you and no one can take from you. That is real success. Not looking successful. Being solid. Being aligned. Being dependable. Being able to look at your life and know you are no longer betraying yourself in small ways. That is peace. Not the weak peace that comes from avoiding discomfort, but the deep peace that comes from living in integrity with the man you are becoming. And when the results come, let them speak. You do not need to announce every move. You do not need to prove every decision. You do not need applause for every sacrifice. Build quietly, correct quickly, execute consistently. Let your life become evidence. Let people wonder what changed. Let them notice your posture, your discipline, your presence, your results, your calmness, your focus. Let them feel that you are no longer the same man, because you are not supposed to be. The goal is not to polish the old identity. The goal is to become someone new, someone stronger, more disciplined, more financially responsible, more emotionally controlled, more focused, more respected, more aligned. Someone who can carry the next level without collapsing under it. Someone who understands that transformation is not optional when purpose is calling. So stop waiting, stop drifting, stop negotiating with weakness, stop protecting the habits that are destroying your future. Force the transformation. Lead yourself first. Build the mind, strengthen the body, order the money, protect the focus, keep the word, become the man your future can trust. And if this message resonated with you, subscribe for more wisdom, discipline, leadership, and motivation to help you rebuild yourself into the man you were meant to become.